we're here today in Stormont in the Long Gallery, and we are preparing for the launch of our 11th Northern Ireland Mental Health Arts Festival. Our theme this year is Catharsis. Now, we have been quite creative, obviously, with we do know how to spell, but it's really promoting the importance of the arts. And I suppose our festival pride ourselves on really celebrating the importance of challenging the stigma of our mental health and well-being, the importance of creating forums for dialogue and discussion and debate, and also promoting and celebrating the importance of our creativity, our self-expression and the arts. So we're celebrating a festival, a regional festival. The official dates are running between the 9th of May right through to the 20th of May, so it coincides with Mental Health Awareness Week.
The theme Catharsis actually reflects that sort of journey, the transition from one thing into another, and there's an absolutely superb quote from the poet Maya Angelou. She talks about, we appreciate the beauty of the butterfly, but we seldom look at the journey that it's been on to get to that beauty. And it's a bit like that with mental health. We're all on that journey. And the catharsis is people on that journey then transitioning into something different, hopefully something better, and making maybe positive changes to their lives. This is the 11th year of the Northern Ireland Mental Health Arts Festival, and it is now a Northern Ireland-wide festival as well. So we have events taking place right across the all the local authority areas in Northern Ireland. So it brings together artists from different art forms, and I think the common denominator is that all of the artists have lived experience of mental health challenges, and that's the important element. And so everyone has been on a journey, you know, and some people are still on their journeys. And the important thing is then that we provide an opportunity for people to showcase, you know, their creative practice, and we do that through a series of events, different art forms, different locations, different types of venues, you know, from community-based venues, public spaces, conventional, you know, arts venues.
We're very proud to say that we have reached across all art forms. We have visual arts, we have over 20 visual arts exhibitions. We have film, we have a premiere verdigris, a feature film that has been nominated for 5 IFTA awards. Again, looking at themes like coercive control, looking at, you know, the whole area of mental health and suicide prevention. We also are looking at celebrating exhibitions of artists who actually have shared and illustrated that their lived experience is very, very important to them in their practice. So we're thrilled to showcase and premiere a stunning exhibition by Paul Marshall, who's going to be speaking today. His exhibition is called Body Shots. It's his own personal journey through stomach cancer, and how through the power of community and support of loved ones and friends that actually his own catharsis has materialised as well. And actually preparing for this exhibition, he tells me too, is part of that catharsis as well. We have a range of opportunities for comedy, and we know that mental health is no laughing matter, but we do recognise that there is something about being able to release the emotions. Catharsis is about, you know, this idea of freedom of expression and being able to release deep-seated emotions. So whether you laugh or cry, that in itself is a cathartic thing to do. And we have a number of comedy opportunities right across from the city of Derry and Belfast and further afield. We also have exhibitions across the province that are in response to the theme Catharsis Open Calls. Eden Arts Centre is one of them up in the city of Derry. We also have opportunities for organisations like the Ulster Society of Women Artists to come on board. We also have the University of Ulster, who have played a major role in looking at how lived experience is now being recognised in forming research and academic practice. And we are trying to change the script with the help of PPR, Sarah Boyce, and her colleagues, in that while medication has a part to play in our recovery and in supporting mental health, it's not the only alternative, and that creativity, self-expression and the arts have a crucial role to play in how we feel about ourselves, how we connect with the world and how we interact in our families and in our communities.
We deal directly with mental health issues in all of the activities, and although what we do isn't therapy, there maybe are therapeutic elements to it. But what we do is we try to address the issue head on. We talked about creating dialogue, conversations, unashamed conversations, but also we talk about, the importance of people understanding what mental health really is and about trying to destigmatize the whole issue around mental health.
I have just joined the festival 6 months ago, so I'm really excited to have pulled this program together. For me, I think it's really important to highlight intersectional voices. I think especially with recent proposed policies and news articles, I think that using diverse people in platforming them to discuss mental health is extremely important. People with mental health issues are being marginalised at the minute, and especially those who have multiple identities are at greater risk of facing less employment, etc., etc. So I think it's really important that we highlight everyone's voice and celebrate everyone's opinion and everyone's talent. And that's what I've tried to do with this program. I come from an arts background, so I am an artist myself. I have worked in exhibitions, in festivals, in facilitating. So I think through that I've met a range of different talents, and yeah, it's just about working with the community and meeting people and hearing their voices and their stories and connecting with everyone. That's important. I think that if you're isolated, you might not be able to access that, and this festival is sort of challenging isolation and bringing people together and widening perspectives. And we want to have online events as well as in person, because in person can be quite difficult. Things should also be online. So yeah.
So it's really important that we engage with artists as well, who can support us in promoting the importance of our mental health and wellbeing. And we are working very closely with the Arts Council this year in recognising that if we don't look after our artists and our creatives and support them in their mental health and wellbeing, what hope is there for our communities in the future?
One of the great things about having so many art forms in a festival is it reduces the perception that art is just visual art and that you just sit down at a canvas and you either draw or paint. And that's the perception out there with so many people. So bringing in so many different art forms and engaging people in taking part in so many art forms is fantastic. It really expands their knowledge. It expands, I suppose, the benefits for the Arts Council is it helps engage and expand our audience. And then what you find is whenever they initially take part in something, they will go on to come back because they've enjoyed it. The Arts Council over the years has supported the Northern Ireland Mental Health and Arts Festival. It's a very important festival, and it has been great because it has grown over the years. And in particular this year, it's got a very, very big programme, and you can see how even in the past 3 years it has developed itself, and it's also delivering regionally, whereas maybe 5-6 years ago it wasn't. So we can see the change in how the festival has progressed, plus it's getting up to comparison with the Scottish Mental Health and Arts Festival as well. So over the years, it's just been fantastic to see how, the team have grown themselves and the work has been developed.
I absolutely think there's great crossover between the arts and mental health, and partly that's why I'm here. But I think traditionally we think of things like mental health as purely a medical issue or a pharmacological issue and increasingly what we're finding is it's not. It's much more complicated than medicine can currently tell us. And what the arts does is it lets people create a place where they can make sense for themselves. And from that, all sorts of things grow. Neurologically, because I spend a bit of time as a neuroscientist, what it does is it allows your brain to rewire itself. And a lot of the challenges that we see are challenges that people face every day. So we're not trying to fix or cure, we're trying to figure out, well, how do we live with this? And so arts help people make sense of the world, and they always have.
Obviously, in my role as a Sinn Féin MLA for West Belfast, I'm also the party spokesperson in the North on mental health, suicide prevention, drug and alcohol addiction. And I think the work that the Mental Health Arts Festival is doing with the programmes that they're rolling out, I think it touches on all of those issues around how you look after your well-being, around how you could be possibly preventing someone from considering taking their own life through suicide, people that are battling with issues of addiction, and the issue with the arts and how the arts can actually, cut across all those issues and help people in recovery. It's a very compassionate and kind approach to trying to help to give people a bit of hope, support, and this is what this festival is going to do, and no doubt very, very successfully again this year. It's bringing people together to try and tackle those issues and try and bring everyone up through the form of art. I think up here at the Assembly, I've no doubt about it that every party, there is cross-party support for mental health and for getting additional investment, additional services into mental health. But I think the problem is we still have a long way to go. We'll have a 10-year mental health strategy that up until last year, the last financial year, has only received an eighth of its funding. We'll have a Protect Life 2 strategy that's under review at the minute and it still hasn't been widely rolled out, and that goes for the same as the substance use strategy. So there's all really good, important pieces, big, crucial pieces of work, but they haven't been fully rolled out. So our job as legislators, as MLAs, is to obviously lobby with the Health Minister and the wider executive to make sure that these crucial issues are given all the attention that they deserve.
We also have performers from two exceptional young people. Well, I do believe we're the only arts and mental health festival here across not just Northern Ireland but across the island of Ireland. We have a real celebration of the arts, but we also have very, very serious opportunities to bring people together for really, really sensitive dialogue, challenging dialogue. And we want to try and, I suppose, challenge that stigma that talking about our mental health is a difficult subject by creating these forums for dignified, respectful discussion and providing sanctuary for that. We feel that we are actually encouraging people to open up more. And the benefits then, when you look at our health system here at the minute, it's not able to cope with the demands of our communities. But actually, if we encourage people to see and source and look out and get involved in activities that are part of our festival, it's another way in to see the world, and a very healthy way as well.
I started off running an arts and older people programme in 2010, and it initially was looking at isolation and loneliness within the older person. But we found through engaging them in an arts activity that they found all this confidence, it improved their health and well-being. The feedback, of course we had to do evaluations all the time, and the feedback always was about how they just, found they looked forward to coming to the classes. And these older people may never have taken part in an arts activity before. And then in 2016 we started a young people and wellbeing programme. And the feedback was the same through the young people. And they made friends, they made connections. Some of them even went on to continue on with the art that they were taking part in. So the benefits are huge whenever a person takes part in an arts activity, because we've seen it time and time again how it's improved their mental health and well-being.
I've been making these kind of arts and health projects for an awful long time now. What I'm doing at the moment mostly is working for the Irish Hospice Foundation, and that project started in the pandemic, and that might seem like an unusual time when everybody was focused on dying, death, loss and grief to start an arts programme, but actually it was the best time ever. So Irish Hospice Foundation has always had some kind of arts in its work, and what it wanted to do was get a bit more considered about it, a bit more thoughtful about it. And so with my background, I'm aware that there's an awful lot of research, but more importantly, I'm aware of about 30 or 40 years of practice. And so what we've been doing is looking at putting artists in service to people at the end of life in acute hospitals or in residential care, or responding to people who want to mark end of life or grief or bereavement in some way. And what that's building to now, after 4 years, is this idea of compassionate community. How do we make more compassionate communities? And that benefits everybody.
With someone with lived experience of mental health challenges myself, the arts has been a really important part of my life, and I know from speaking to other people who've lived experience that the arts has been like a lifeline, for a lot of people, and it is something that can be a constant in your life, and it's something that you can go back to as a friend and something you can depend on. And while there is frustrations and things in the creative practice, you always know that you're at home in the arts. And the art is also a great educational tool as well. So it's also a great informative tool. So, you know, you can tell people about mental health and mental health issues, and, you know, do a more accurate and positive reflection on mental health challenges through the arts. There's a direct correlation between creativity and, you know, certain areas to do with, you know, mental health and well-being. You know, people talk about that, for example, their neurodiversity being the creative spark that makes them artists. You know, so there's so many links in terms of, you know, the arts and mental health and well-being.
It's really important that we have a festival dedicated to people with lived experience of mental health and highlighting that they are talented, that they are worthwhile, that they are here and have a voice and are excited to be a part of the community.
I think then the arts is actually the Cinderella service of them all, and it's probably one of the last things in terms of it can be perceived maybe as one of the things that aren't treated as a major priority in terms of funding or where money or funding should go. So I think that when we see what the Mental Health Arts Festival is doing and the impact that that's having, that we all have a duty to try and prioritise the arts and to try and put our money where our mouth is and to invest into it so we can make much more of these events in the future.
I can think of so many occasions when the arts are beneficial to people at all sorts of different levels, from a person moving colours around on a page that reflects the mood that they're in, to picking your own playlist, to wild and ecstatic dancing to burn off unwanted energy. But I can also see that creative project is catalytic for communities. So it helps remove stigma, it helps people see people in a different light, it helps us change the story that we tell ourselves about ourselves and about other people and about people that really we should learn more about, because at some point that might be us.
So today is a real celebration of a really important programme. We've come to Stormont because we want to really make a statement. It's important that our elected representatives take this very, very seriously. Our mental health, I suppose, has never been challenged as much as it is now, but the arts have a really, really important part to play, both in communities, across health and wellbeing settings, for our cultural tourism, for our economy, and for our general wellbeing. And when you look at the investment in what is creative and cultural, you know, opportunities, there's a huge benefit, a huge payoff in terms of people who are fit and healthy and well to work, well to live, well to enjoy family life and be a contribution in their communities as well. So we pride ourselves in building the capacity, raising the profile and connecting with our arts and cultural venues across the province and make them much more visible. That's really, really important for us.